When we think of power, when we think of governance, we think of ourselves as discrete objects, like, bodies that have space between them, that sometimes come together, sometimes not. But what would happen if we suspended that individualistic belief and really thought of our very deep entanglement, of how deeply entangled we have always been? So I have the feeling that even from an ontological point of view, with discoveries of, for example, knowing that when two people are speaking in person, we're actually exchanging all the time DNA, and now viruses, of course. So what does governance and what does power actually look like when we lead from there, from a very symbiotic, intermingled, interdependent, completely entangled social world space?
I think the one thing that I really want to let go of is the fact that we are made to, even when organizations and institutions try to act inclusive, the people from the margins have to be continuously grateful. And the second is the idea of the marginalized being sampled and studied over and over again by the oppressor themselves.
Like a world that really just prioritizes the humanity of workers over profit.
Another notion I would like to suspend would be that God is a man and God is white, or God or whatever, just the image of God, and change it to a woman.
So I would like to suspend white supremacy and gendered violence.
To let go of when it comes to something that I know has a very subtle power over all of us is like our own deep internal colonization.
That speaking English in the way we do, progressive language in the way we employ, is more powerful than native languages, than native articulations.
I really find my power in people, because I really feel like, regardless of everything that was said, people do have the power to be extremely beautiful.
I would say my power lies in the endless power of the womb and of the land.
To have a very solid counter to casteist belief and casteist patriarchal beliefs is very powerful for my community, and that's something that I drive my power from as well.
Like how to undo this parochialism, right? How to undo this closed idea of who is us, like who are my people? How can we reimagine who I belong to or who belongs to me? And we kind of, that's where we ended up at this thing of being like, no identity, no borders, but actually we collectivize on shared principles and shared values. At one point, Rara also put this question to us, being like, oh, what happens if someone, exploits the thing? And then we were like, oh no, now we get into, like, now we have to think about enforcing, like, we don't want to do that. But then we were like, okay, let's not even think the thought of what if someone exploits. Like, let's not even prepare for that. Let's just lead in trust on the idea that no one is going to exploit it. And maybe that'll be okay. So that's kind of where we ended.
Groups or some ethnic groups that don't fall under these governments, they solve conflicts between each other. So it's I feel like the structures that are put in place amplify these issues and then apply them to everyone instead of letting everyone deal with their own issues. like give them the agency and use your community, the people around you who understand the problem to help you solve it, instead of it's one size fits all policy. Yeah.
And how sustainable is our narrative of the future, or our imagination of the future, that it won't fall back into that loop. Like, how do we create the neve, or the what do you call the basis of our future is so filled with love, empathy, and colors and kindness that it does not fall back into the loop, like the sustainability of our future.
I'm just saying right now, Sabika said her base was not this, her base was this. And I think that sort of answers the question for me. That we just continue to hold each other.